Hello, internet friends and family. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. You guys, y'all knew I was going to jump into this. So look, my god babies just left. Nana had them all day long since about 8:15 this morning. Had my babies. It's now like 3:30 and they just left. So I only have a few minutes, but we have to talk about this. As you pop on, you guys know the drill. Thumbs up, jump to comments, tell me who you are, where you are watching from. Okay, first things first. The snow test, it'll be water by the time it leaves me. The samples will be leaving me next week. It will take a minimum of 4 weeks to have all the heavy metal testing that I want done. So it will be sometime at the end of February before we have the results that we are all on the edge of our seats looking for. Now that I have covered that, let's really jump into this. Okay, so I'm hearing all kinds of craziness. Oh my gosh. Trump got rid of, DEI, which he did. Trump took away protections for minorities, for women, for Indians, for blacks, for age, for disability. That's all a lie. Okay. Trump did an executive order that says, let me pull it up because I'm going to read it. I think this is where people mess up. You aren't actually reading stuff that's coming out of the horse's mouth. Okay, so in fact, let me do this again. Whitehouse.gov. And let me find his executive actions. This is called primary source of information. Okay, because what I'm hearing is people panicking over things that you shouldn't be panicking over, because you don't want to sit down and take the time to actually read what is going on. You're panicking. All right, so here it is. January 21st. Okay, so first off, let me show you where I'm reading from. Whitehouse.gov. This is the official site that will tell you exactly what he has signed and what it means. So if you're getting your information off TikTok or Instagram or Y2 Shorts because your attention span is less than my 6-year-old godchild, then shame on you for not being a grown adult and learning how to force yourself to hear the truth. Because it says ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. By the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1. Longstanding federal civil rights laws protect individual Americans from discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin. These civil rights protections serve as a bedrock supporting equality of opportunity for all Americans. Americans. Let me say it one more time. Americans. As president, I have a solemn duty to ensure that these laws are enforced for the benefit of all Americans. Yet today, roughly 60 years after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which is a law that no president can overturn. So you need to understand that to even begin this actual conversation. Okay? There is not a president in the world that can take a pen, write an executive order, sign his name, and get rid of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It is not possible. Go back to what I was reading. 60 years after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, critical and influential institutions of American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, the medical industry, large commercial airlines, law enforcement agencies, and institutions of higher education have adopted and actively use dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, or diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEIA, that can violate the civil rights laws of this nation. Illegal DEI and DEIA policies not only violate the text and spirit of our longstanding federal civil rights laws, they also undermine our national unity as they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American values of hard work, excellence, and individual achievement in favor of an unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious identity-based spoils system. Hardworking Americans who deserve a shot at the American dream should not be stigmatized, demeaned, or shut out of opportunities because of their sex or race. Hello, guys. So let me tell you what has happened to me and Stephen. We applied for a grant through a nonprofit organization run by a university to go to a farming seminar. They were giving out grant money to cover flights, hotels, and food so that people could go from rural areas of Louisiana. I was flat told, you can apply, but if you are LGBTQ plus, if you are whatever gender, if you use pronouns, if you're BIPOC, which means Black or Indigenous, or you're female, you'll get first choice to go. And I'm like, wait a second. If this grant is to help cover financial, it should be based on finances, not on my sexual preference, not on whether or not I'm gay or straight, and not whether or not I'm white or Black or Indian. It should be based on, do I have the financial ability to go to this without the grant money? So we still applied. I didn't lie. I could have claimed anything I wanted to get something for free, if you catch my drift. But I have integrity. So I checked straight, white, Stephen and Samantha married. We applied. I got something back in the mail a month ago that said, sorry, there was no space for you. Okay. So that right there is discriminatory as hell. And I'm sorry if you can't see that. This grant money was to help farmers who could not afford to go to this no-till organic meeting. It should not have been given to people based on who they slept with. Now, that's what's wrong with America. And that's how all federal money has been being spent for the past 4 years. I live in this world. I work with all these universities and USDA and everything else. Every time I go to a meeting for farmers, the first thing they ask is all of us to share our pronouns. And if we have pronouns, we get crap for free. But if you're a straight white American, if you're a straight Black American, you don't get anything. I'm sorry. It's not what it was meant to be or how it was supposed to be used, folks. So good for Trump. And shame on anybody else fear-mongering people too lazy to look it up yourself. It's right here. It took me that fast to find it. So let's get back to what he actually wrote. These illegal DEI and DEIA policies also threaten the safety of American men, women, and children across the nation by diminishing the importance of individual merit, aptitude, hard work, and determination when selecting people for jobs and services in key sectors of American society, including all levels of government and the medical, aviation, and law enforcement communities. Yet in case after tragic case, the American people have witnessed firsthand the disastrous consequences of illegal discrimination that has prioritized how people were born instead of what they are capable of doing. The federal government is charged with enforcing civil rights laws. The purpose of this order is ensure that it does so by ending illegal preferences and discrimination. Section 2, policy. It is the policy of the United States to protect the civil rights of all Americans and to promote individual initiative, excellence, and hard work. I therefore order all executive departments and agencies to terminate all discriminatory and illegal preferences, mandates, policies, programs, activities, consent orders, and requirements. I further order all agencies to enforce our long-standing civil rights laws and to combat illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. Had Trump been president 2 months ago when I applied for that grant, I would be on my way to it in February. But because I'm a straight white woman, I don't get to go. So for the ones of you who don't live in a world where grants are a big deal, where funding and nonprofits are a big deal, this may not mean anything to you. But just so you know, people would not hire me for my fruits and vegetables, although I'm organic, because my company is set up underneath my husband because I'm old school. And because he's a white man, they were required by federal law to hire farms, to produce produce that came from LGBTQ or BIPOC or females. And we lost a lot of money because of that. There's a lot of contracts that don't come to people that look like me. So I'm really proud that Trump is going back and he's basically saying, look, you can't not hire someone because they're gay. You can't not hire someone because they're Black or they're female or they're old or they have a disability. If they can do the job, you have to hire them. However, you can't require money be given to people because they're gay. Now, I don't know why people can't get that, but I mean, it's obvious as I spent my day on TikTok that people truly don't get it. But let me show you what some of the executive orders Trump has signed is doing for minority.
To promote federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina.
I love the Lumbee tribe. So this is their first big step, right?
This would be a huge step for them.
Yeah, they were with me all the way. They were great.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are
elderly
people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. Okay.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
If you didn't catch that, the pen that he used to sign the executive order demanding that we finally find out what happened to Kennedy as well as Martin Luther King, he gave that pen to Kennedy. So in that one clip, you saw 3 instances where civil rights came into play. We saw an Indian tribe recognized in North Carolina. We saw elderly people protected so they can continue to use their First Amendment rights. And you saw the information released on what happened to Dr. Martin Luther King. So Trump's not out to get minorities, he's out to protect them. Now, let me see. Here's a good one. I really did like this lady.
Now you've heard that DEI is going away because President Trump signed the executive order on them. I'm going to tell you why I agree as a former Mississippi State Trooper and former special agent with United States Secret Service. When I went through the Mississippi Highway Patrol Academy to become a state trooper, the time to run your mile in for males was under 8 minutes. The time to run it for females was under 9 minutes. I held myself to the male standards because I said I don't want to be treated any differently. So I ran my mile in about 7:10 or 7:09. It was right around that time frame. Push-ups were like 25 push-ups to get in, 35 sit-ups, something like that. I can't remember. But I held myself to the same standards that the males had. To get in the United States Secret Service Academy at FLETC, I did 10 pull-ups as a female. That was the male standards. I said, I don't want to be treated differently. I did the same amount of push-ups that the males had to do, the same amount of sit-ups that a male had to do. I did my run in the same amount of time that men had to do their run in. Reason is, I said, I do not deserve a place here if I can't hold myself to the same standards that males have to do. If you're a female and you can't cut the mustard as far as hold yourself to those same standards, you don't deserve a place there. Good for Trump for signing that DEI executive order. I guess now you've heard that DEI is going away.
So there's somebody that was honest. The tests aren't even the same. I just read somebody's comment right here. She said, my mom back in the early 1990s took a post office test. She scored the highest. And by the way, one of my daughters applied for the post office and did not pass that test. It's very hard. She was not hired. A Black woman with a lower test score was hired. They wanted a Black woman. My mom studied every night. That is how you kill dreams. The person who is most qualified and who physically and or mentally can do that job the best should be hired. Period. Let's see. This guy right here, I actually told him to go get an actual job because he's wrong.
Just revoked the Equal Opportunity Employment Executive Order signed by LBJ back in 1965. Now, this was a bedrock policy. This was high.
Let me tell you how I know every word out of his mouth was just a lie. Trump revoked the Equal Opportunity Employment Executive Order of 1965. He actually revoked several of them. But an executive order is not a law, okay? It's also not part of your constitutional rights, my friends.
So this headline has been going viral for about the past day or so, and people are understandably upset and reasonably asking questions. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, there are a few things that people need to understand. Number one, your protections against discrimination, specifically in the workplace, did not start in 1965 through an executive order by the president, nor did they stop being modified in 1965 by the same executive order. So where do they come from? Your protections against discrimination in the workplace are either constitutionally based or they come from legislation passed by Congress. Notice neither one of those two things mentioned an executive order from the president. So where's the confusion? Let me explain it. Federal discrimination acts like Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 already prohibits employers from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sexuality, a number of things. And that's only been modified throughout the court system over the years to include things like age and disabilities. So if all of that came from the Constitution and federal discrimination acts passed by Congress, what did this executive order actually talk about? This executive order basically mandates that federal contractors and federal contractors only have to have affirmative action programs in place in order to keep their federal contracts. This doesn't mean that now that this is revoked, that these same companies can start going out and discriminating on who they choose to and not to hire, because that's federal law. That's part of the Constitution. That has already been decided by the courts that it's illegal. So no, this has nothing to do with that. But you can expect to see a lot more misleading headlines like this because companies and people and blogs get paid to post stuff like this in order to stoke division.
Oh, he's so brilliant. Because what did I start this with? I started by telling you guys about the fact that Stephen and I didn't get to go on this trip for farmers because the DEI is for them. They have to bring in the LGBTQ, blah, 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 because that's what Biden told them to do. That's all Trump did. He evened the playing field, folks. Anything else you hear are a bunch of nincompoops whining. Now, this I found, hey, sweetheart, how are you? This I found a bit scary, but I'm super excited.
I'm not going back to Haiti. I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
First time when you see
that's
that
all
video,
I needed
I'm
to
curious,
hear.
What do you think?
Thank Biden forever, and thank Obama for everything he did for me. I'm not going back to Haiti. And guess what? You going back to Haiti. You're going back to Haiti.
You're going back to Haiti.
You're going back to Haiti. What? Haiti. What? Haiti. You going back to Haiti? I don't think so. Yes,
That
you
is
are.
called Silly Songs with Sam.
That's right. He's got it right, because that's exactly what we say around here. We laugh all the time. I sing for the kids, and I tell them all the time, you're doing silly songs with Sam. Don't be hating me. Somebody said, don't be hating me. I love you guys. But that's what we're dealing with. People that think they have a right to be here. You don't have a right. Birthright citizenship, that is not part of Amendment 14. That is somebody else's like mild interpretation, and it needs to be taken care of. So let me show you guys a few more of these, and then I've got to go, friends.
Around. It's only Wednesday, and big things are happening. I got a buddy who works for the government. He messaged me this morning. All hirings have been frozen. Like the jobs that they had up on their website, they're all gone. That shit's down.
Yep.
He is going to clean up the government. I think we can all rest assured on that. And in even bigger news, Catherine Herridge, an investigative journalist, the one who broke open what actually happened on J6, and she actually lost her job for that, she's posting from down in Guantanamo Bay reporting that a massive courthouse is being built and that there are going to be trials and people are going to be held accountable. We have been hearing the myths of people being held accountable at Guantanamo Bay for years. I mean, like since 2016. And it sounds like these things are finally going to happen. I don't even have words for that one. Like if we see some shit like that, that is accountability on a level that we've all just been dreaming of. Actual criminals in our government may actually be going to jail, and in cases of treason, well, we all know where that should go. People, like this is it. This is the upswing, and it might be bigger than any of us ever even imagined. This is like we're being given everything we were promised. Good luck, everyone. Welcome to the upswing, and long live the motherfucking republic.
I hate his language, but long live the republic, y'all. I mean,
things are happening.
come on now. I know you guys feel the same way. I've had enough. Now, this guy, I don't know who he is, but he's pretty awesome.
Folks, here are 10 more cuts Elon Musk is making as the head of the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Now, these are all sports related for some reason, but let's find out. For example, the National Duckpin Bowling Preservation Society is on the block. Musk has said nobody knows what duckpin bowling is, and nobody cares. This society, which spent $12 million annually promoting duckpin lanes and lobbying for its inclusion in the Olympics, it was closed. Musk suggested all remaining lanes be converted into Hyperloop testing facilities. Number 2, the Bureau of Lawn Darts Regulation. A relic of the 1980s, this office was tasked with ensuring lawn darts were fun, yet not lethal. Musk axed it, saying it's survival of the fittest. If you can't dodge a lawn dart, maybe you shouldn't be playing lawn darts. Number 3, the Federal Curling Encouragement Commission. Now, this was created to foster enthusiasm for curling in non-winter states. This commission's $8 million annual budget funded events like curling on the beach in Miami. Musk cut it, tweeting, Florida man plus brooms equals no ROI. Number 4, the National Mascot Research Institute. Housed in a state-of-the-art lab in Kansas, this institute studied optimal mascot designs and tested materials for maximum huggability. Musk declared the $15 million yearly cost unsustainable, then proposed using humanoid robots as mascots, saying, people don't need foam suits. They need inspiration. Number 5, the Congressional Office of Sports Cliche Development. This office was dedicated to inventing phrases like, they left it all on the field, and it's not over till it's over. Musk deemed it the pinnacle of government waste, saying, cliches are free and abundant on Reddit. Number 6, the Umpire and Referee Stress Relief Fund.
Yes, it's real.
This was established to provide therapy for officials who endured high-pressure booing situations. This fund once sent NFL referees to Hawaiian spas for a week after controversial calls. Musk closed the fund, tweeting, if you can't handle hecklers, you're in the wrong gig. Number 7, the United States Intercollegiate Cornhole League. What? The government funded this league as a wholesome alternative to beer pong. Musk ended it, remarking, cornhole isn't a sport. It's an activity you do while you wait for your brisket to smoke. Number 8, the National Anthem Pre-Game Coordination Bureau. This bureau ensured every anthem singer had the correct pitch, tempo, and outfit for televised games. Musk cut it with the quip, just have ChatGPT sing the anthem. Cheaper and no wardrobe malfunctions. Number 9, the Department of Intramural Kickball Analytics focused on bringing Moneyball level insights to office kickball leagues. This department produced reports like the optimal arc for kick to left field scenarios. Musk cut it, saying, no one needs sabermetrics to know Tim and accounting is bad at sports. And number 10, the International Horseshoes Diplomacy Program. This program aimed to use friendly horseshoe matches to improve relations with foreign
These are all
dignitaries.
real.
Musk cut it, calling it outdated, and tweeting, replace horseshoes with esports tournaments. That's how you get respect these days. Guys, what's next for...
I know. You guys think I'm joking. You think he's joking. You think that wasn't real. That's how the federal government has been spending your tax dollars for the past 70 years. If you have not seen my video on Fisk going in and sending out the memo to the CDC and the HHS saying, hey, stop everything you're doing. Stop. We're taking you over. You have to have permission to do Facebook posts. You have to have permission to spend money on studies. They're doing this in every section of the government because the waste is mind-blowing, the amount of waste in the government. Where's it at? Where is it?
The federal government through executive actions. In addition to new orders on immigration and climate change, CBS News has obtained a memo that shows that Donald Trump is also ending diversity programs at all federal agencies.
It went out last night to the heads of every federal department and agency, giving them until 5 p.m. today to notify all federal employees who work on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that they are being placed on paid leave effective immediately, and that all those programs across the federal...
Okay. Now, I think he's being more than fair. If your company that you currently work at decided that your position was no longer needed, how long do you think they would give you of paid leave before sending you the notice that you didn't have a job anymore? Because I know that happened to my husband recently. He showed up at the gravel pit and was given a pink notice. Today's your last day. We don't have any more work for you. He didn't get a full paycheck. He didn't get paid leave. He didn't get to go home and start applying for other jobs while being paid. That didn't happen. So I don't want to hear one person feel sorry for these thousands of ticks that sat in federal positions with the best health care. Because let me tell you something. People who work for the city, the state, and the federal government do not have Obama health care. They have private insurance like it was before Obamacare. So they have the best insurance in the world, the best retirement in the world. And now they get paid leave while they apply for other jobs. And you know what Americans are going to do? We're going to do nothing.
Wigginton. Okay. And Mr. Wigginton, there you are. Please come forward.
This is Dane Whittington.
Okay. And Mr. Wigginton, there you are. Please come forward and welcome.
10 years ago in this chambers, I presented testing data on climate engineering operations that are not being publicly disclosed, no environmental impact report, no public disclosures. The board at that time was going to solicit Sacramento for additional testing. I don't think any of that ever was followed through with. Since that time, Geoengineering.org, which is our organization, has spent over $100K taking a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration flying lab to altitude, all on film, all on the record. Top scientists in that aircraft tested what heavy aircraft were emitting and found exactly what we knew we'd find, starting with aluminum nanoparticles. We have the entire global climate science community discussing exactly what we have stated is happening in our skies, putting jet aircraft in the sky to disperse light-scattering particles to deflect some of the sun's incoming thermal energy. These particles are toxic. They're showing up in rain tests everywhere. Here in Reading, I was invited to a closed-door meeting at Reading Environmental Waste, and I was asked if I knew where the massive amounts of aluminum were coming from that were showing up in rain tests. And after every single precipitation event in the Sacramento River and the tributaries, those tests have never been disclosed to date. And now the damage done from this contaminant in our precipitation with soil microbiome, and a host of other issues with precipitation disruption, none of that has been disclosed to date, but this issue is gaining ground. It's gaining traction. We now have legislation passed in Tennessee. Florida's following suit. Other states are following suit.
So I just wanted to show you that Dane Whittington, just was before California's government, one of the counties, talking about climate geoengineering. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know how to play the clips on here while I'm live. I don't know how to do that. And since I barely make a living wage doing all these videos for you guys, I can't afford to pay someone to do it for me. So until we figure out something else and a better way to do it, this is the best I can do, folks.
Northeast over Tennessee and North Carolina, and heavy chemtrail operation through the morning in this area that you can see here, very distinct lines. Sorry about that. The lines kind of faded into each other, but you can see how all these lines go into like this one massive cloud formation. You know what I mean? That's a jet trail. They just turn it on a brief area. This morning at daybreak, I could see these airplane trails very distinct in all this. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can really see how they created this. You know what I mean? It doesn't even look like there's any trails within an hour or two. And the ripples are non-stop. They do not stop. You can see them even in the dark. The machine is on, pushing this material all the way to Europe. They're going to have a winter storm now from our stuff. It's crazy what is going on here. Everything is connected. We live on the same planet. Spending billions of dollars a year billions to control our weather. Right this minute, there is massive ship activity offshore of British Columbia. Ships going out here and doing loops. These people need to be arrested. There is no reason for ships to go out here and all of them do a loop. Every single one of them. They're trying to stay in the fog bank. All these orders that are being signed, this madness here needs to be what it needs to be attention on. They got us distracted, my friends, while they poison the Pacific Ocean here. Let's go back a few hours. They're just sitting out here doing donuts, creating this weather. You know what I mean? This makes me more angry than everything because the ocean provides for me, or well, it used to. Once they kill the ocean off, we will lose all life.
Yes.
Everybody's been brainwashed to think only the trees provides oxygen, but only 10% of the planet has trees. Most of our oxygen comes from the ocean. Look how all of these ships went in and did loops. I've showed you the technology. I've showed you the ships burning. I've showed you pictures of it. Nightmares, my friend. Nightmares.
Okay, so that's real life. Let me find it. Real fishing life. He can break down the technology a little more for you. You can see what type he's using. And what I'm going to do is somebody gave me an idea on here that said StreamYard. I don't even know what that is. I'm a farmer, folks, and an educator, and a mom, and a wife, and a Wednesday night youth teacher, and a writer. But getting on computers is not my thing. I do lives with y'all because I find some of this hilarious and I want to share it with you. Did you run by the bank? Okay, because mom and daddy are going to be here in just a minute.
Oh, they're coming here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to come here and get this.
I thought we was going to watch it.
Nah, they're going to come here. And I wanted to show you what the Hispanic people did of Trump real quick before I have to go, guys.
Look at what's in the hood.
Look how beautiful.
We the people.
Isn't that,
You like
isn't that
that? How do you
gorgeous?
feel about that?
That's in the
That's
hood,
clean.
the Hispanic
That's your
hood.
boy? Making change in the community. Dude, his
Making a change in the community.
shit trompas. Ooh!
So let me tell you guys something.
Elon over here.
The Hispanic people don't want these illegal aliens in this country because they're not Mexican that are coming anymore. That's not what we're getting. Okay. And they don't want them here. So they are all the way Trump. Send the Haitians home. Send the Guatemalans home. Send them all home. Go back to your country. Make your country great again. How about that? Somebody said, but Sam, these countries are so poor. You don't understand. Yes, I do. I know that my God babies that were here earlier today live like they from third world country because Americans are so poor. When my babies that I love here in America are taken care of, we'll worry about other countries. How about that? And that's my last word on that one. You're not going to guilt me into letting the whole world into this country living on food stamps. I want the children in America to thrive. That doesn't make me a bad person. When America fixes America's problems, then we can go run around the world and play Save a World and fix their problems. But let's start here first. Love you guys. Just remember, Trump is doing everything he said he would. Just, you know what? Instead of believing the fear-mongering nonsense, go to whitehouse.gov. Once you get on whitehouse.gov, go to executive order and read everything Trump said out of his own mouth. How about that? And then we can have real conversations and from primary source news versus talking about what other people think Trump said or they think Trump did. Because don't come with me with half-baked ideas because I'm going to go to the primary source because my mama sent me to school, right? And I get out of my video, man. My mama sent me to school, and so I'm going to go look and I'm going to see exactly what Trump said. And what I do like he said, though, is the head of each agency shall include in every contract or grant award a term requiring the contractual counterparty or grant recipient to agree that its compliance in all respects of all applicable federal anti-discrimination laws is material to the government's payment decisions, a term requiring such counterparty or recipient to certify that it does not operate any programs promoting DEI. Thank you, Trump. I've got a chance now when I spend hours applying for grants to actually get the grant because I'm good at what I do. But it makes me really mad to know that because somebody's got a different pronoun, they're going to get the money that I know would be used properly here. But they're going to get the money and they've only been a former for 6 months. But they're going to get it because they're LGBTQ plus M or SNTLLBU X and Y's.
It sounds like a television show.
It's ridiculous. It sounds as ridiculous as it actually is. Oh, wait. Let me show y'all my favorite lesbian. You made me think about her. She's so funny.
Lesbian who voted for President Trump, everybody is telling me that I should regret my vote. Let's see what executive orders he made his first day in office, and if I agree with them. Executive order suspends refugee settlement. Refugees must submit a report every 90 days regarding whether refugee resettlement should be resumed. I think that's great. Just because somebody is claiming refugee status doesn't mean that they're being a loyal, law-abiding citizen. Checkpoints are great in video games and in real life. Executive order to redefine birthright citizenship. I honestly don't know enough about this to comment, but what I will say is that I ran into somebody the other day whose family member was coming here just to have their baby, because then their baby would be a legal citizen.
Then their baby gets that money.
Stamps, government assistance. Not sure how I feel about that. Memorandum on classical architecture for public buildings. This memorandum calls for federal public buildings to be designed in a style that respects regional, traditional, and classical architectural heritage. What many of you don't know about me is that I actually have a degree in art. And maybe it's because I'm a New Yorker and I'm from a very old city, but I actually miss a lot of the old school architecture and art. Make sure you guys follow me and like this video because I'll be posting other reactions to.
I just like her because she's got common sense. And because she's gay, she can actually talk about gays without being called homophobic. They said they like you because you make things funny when we're being serious. Stay.
Shit, boo-boo, shit.
I love you guys. I got to go. Anyway, snow's going out next week. Test will be in about a month. We're actually going to be testing for all the things that Dane was just talking about. So
snow's going out and the rain's coming in.
Yeah, snow's going out and the rain's coming in. Love you guys. Stay awake. Heads on a swivel. Remember, whitehouse.gov. Get your information from primary sources, not from some LGBTQ2 plus MRSNG on TikTok that doesn't even know what they're talking about. Love you guys.